I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. Moving on, we move on to page 2 of the grade 3 ABRSM Discovering Music Theory workbook, continuing with the topic of rhythm, particularly now regarding demi-semiquavers. And on page 2 we get the opportunity to write a combination of rhythms using demi-semiquavers in note and rest form. The opportunities are endless really here. The one important thing is to make sure we get the correct number of beats per bar and that we group it accurately to reflect that time signature. And actually this is 4 crotchet beats per bar, 4/4. Or that's common time, just to do a little bit of revision back in grade 1. And actually that's going to be quite a lot of notes, filling 4 crotchet beats with such small divisions using demi-semiquavers. So have a go, and then I'll have a go and we'll see what we come up with together. So this is my suggestion. The opportunities are endless. So let's start with a dotted quaver. I shall beam that in a second. Now I find it easier to just diagram this out because here is a crotchet beat and I'm going to divide that's semiquavers, and if I divide it again that's now demi-semiquavers. So a quaver is half of a crotchet beat and then the dot is half as much again, and we can see now that we've got a quarter of a beat left, or we could say 2/8 of a beat. So I'm going to use that as an opportunity to get some demi-semiquavers in straight away. So I beam those together, but now these are 2 demi-semiquavers, which are equal to a semiquaver beat. The dot is worth a semiquaver beat. There's a quaver, there's a quaver, there's a full beat. So that's beat 1 completed, all beamed to show beat 1. Then what shall we do here? So let's have 2 semiquavers, busy rhythms, and then we know, so that 2 semiquavers, if we diagram this out again, of course it doesn't look anything like 2 semiquavers yet, but that's what's in my head. So let's just show there's our crotchet beat divided into 8s. So a semiquaver is a quarter of a beat and then another quarter of a beat. So that means we've got 4/8, that's 4 demi-semis. So I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a crotchet beat now. So if I beam all of these together, there are my 2 semiquavers. Now the way we can do this is we can just run this semiquaver line all the way across, and then just for these last 4 that shows us our demi-semiquaver. So we can see there's another crotchet beat. Now then I think things have got busy enough here, so I'm just going to have let's think about this now. So let's have a quaver. Well, let's swap it around. Let's have I would say 4 demi-semiquavers, but let's put one as a rest, and it's okay to put that in the group as if it was a note and just beam over it. So we know that 4 demi-semis is a quaver, and then if I have another quaver instead of 2 semiquavers, so that can be, let's just beam those together. does scramble your brain, all of this. Maths does for sure. Well, it does mine. So there are our demi-semis. So 4 demi-semis, albeit one's a rest, but that doesn't change the note value, is a quaver, and then there's another quaver. So that's beat 3, and do you know what? I think to end this little exercise, we'll just have a 1 beat, just to bring things nicely to a close, because if we end on a demi-semi, it's just going to feel like it's fell off the edge of the exercise. So I think that will suffice. We've got some demi-semiquaver notes, and we've got a demi-semiquaver rest. You could, of course, change and put a rest somewhere else as well. Here, perhaps, any one of these can be replaced with a rest. So that's that one done. Whew, tough maths there, I find. And now in exercise 2, we get the opportunity to show where each beat falls, and we need to choose a time signature. There are a lot of divisions of notes here with lots of very busy rhythms, but the principle remains the same. We've just got to kind of sketch it out, just keep everything tidily organised in terms of maths. Remember, the bottom number tells us what type of beat is used, so we need to find that first of all, and then we can go on to say how many beats of that unit beat there are. So we can see here, this is a nice, some bars are easier than others. We can see 2 quavers gives us a crotchet beat, 2 quavers gives us a crotchet beat. So we're obviously counting in beats of crotchet. So our bottom number is going to be 4. There's a crotchet beat. And we know that 1, 2, 3, 4 demi-semis give us a quaver, 8 demi-semiquavers give us a crotchet, and they're all beamed together to show there's our crotchet beat. So we can easily see beat 1, beat 2, beat 1, beat 2. So we can easily see where each beat falls. And so if we just take things a step at a time, it should not be too tricky. So what do we have here? So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 demi-semiquavers, which we know gives us a crotchet beat. So there's 1 crotchet beat, there's a crotchet beat, there's a crotchet beat. We're obviously counting in crotchet beats, and there are 1, 2, 3 crotchet beats. This bar shows it even more simply. We can see we have a minim that divides crotchet, crotchet, and there's a crotchet beat rest. 1, 2, 3 crotchet beats. So we've done that, and so we just show where each beat falls now. So there's beat 1. There's the start of beat 2. There's the start of beat 3, bar line. There's beat 1. Beat 2 falls here, and then here's beat 3. That's beats 1 and 2 there, isn't it? Now it looks like beat 2 visually seems longer than beat 3. That's not so. In the time it's beat 1, beat 2, beat 3. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3. The tempo stays steady and regular. It just looks further apart because there's so much more going on in that beat. It's just going to take up more space. That's the only thing that's going on there. Let's press on. Now then, what are we counting in here? We've got a minim here. We could be thinking counting in crotchets, but if we look at that, crotchet, 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 there's a lot of crotchet beats. Let's think in minims. So there's 1 minim beat. There's another minim beat. We know that 8 demi-semis gives us a crotchet. Quaver, quaver gives us a crotchet. 2 crotchets gives us a minim. So 1, 2, 3 minim beats, and that will be 3 over 2 because we're counting in half notes. If you remember, there's our whole note which divides into half notes, which is why the bottom number is 2. When we divide into quarters, quarter notes or crotchets, the bottom number is 4. So we've done that. Now we just need to show where each minim beat falls. We've done the thinking. There's the start of beat 1. There's the start of beat 2. There's the start of beat 3. And again, there's a lot going on in minim beat 3, so it's going to take up all of that space to the end of the bar. If you haven't done so already, I do recommend that you now press pause and try these remaining questions on your own. It's okay to get it wrong. That's how you learn, by your mistakes. It's always better to have a good go, actively have a go, even if it's wrong. Always work in pencil. You can just erase it out. I know that I always say that. I am repeating myself, I do know. However, it's so very important. Making mistakes is okay. Now's the time to make them. Now, looking at this one, I'm hoping you've had a go. Let's check through together. The second bar gives us the answer so much quicker than the first bar. So you can see if we tried to count this in crotchet beats, we'd have 1.5. That won't work. There's not enough for a mini beat. We've got to count it in quaver beats. And so the bottom number will be 8. So there are 1, 2, 3 quaver beats per bar. So we can see there's beat 1. Well, there's beat 3. There's beat 2. And we know that 4 demi-semiquavers make a quaver, and so we can see there's quaver beat 1, there's quaver beat 2, there's quaver beat 3, bar line, beat 1, beat 2, beat 3. Once you've found the unit beat, it's easy to then just divide out the maths equally. And then finally, now this one seems quite tricky, however the beaming will give us the answer. We can see here it's beamed together to show a crotchet beat. Now here, although this seems quite tricky, performance is not our problem, we're just dividing the maths. And so if this is a semiquaver, half of a semiquaver is a demi-semi, and then here we have another demi-semi. So the dot and this demi-semi give us another semiquaver. And if I just diagram that out, started going backwards really just because this was the easy part. So if we see there's a crotchet beat divided into demi-semis, into eighths. So we have a semiquaver, which is 1/4 of a crotchet beat. The dot gives us half as much again. And then there we have a demi-semiquaver, so that finishes that half of a beat. Then we get the same again, it's nothing new, we've done this. So a semiquaver is 1/4 of a beat. The dot is half of that, which is an eighth. And then there's our remaining eighth of a beat, and we can see that it's nicely beamed to show us a crotchet. Let's just divide this one, just to use it for the sake of kind of learning. Let's just squeeze every drop we can out of this to get to grips with these demi-semiquaver divisions. So here we have a crotchet beat divided into eighths. We know that a quaver is half of a crotchet beat. The dot gives us another 1/4 of a beat, that's half of that, half again. And then we have 2 demi-semis, which are an eighth each, and so we can see there's a crotchet beat, and we've got the same again here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 crotchet beats, and so we can easily see this is why beaming is so very, very important. It shows us quite easily beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, so the performer knows exactly where each new beat starts. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.